Me too. All right. Hey, so this is like the first episode of Rooftop Conversations, and I'm May. Honestly, I like this is my first time doing this, so I decided to bring a pro at podcasting to help me with all this, Paul McWhite. So Paul actually is the pro and is the person that kind of I wanted to do a podcast originally back in the fall, but like I never really got it together. But Paul was the person who kind of guided me through the process of doing it, and Paul, like, why don't you introduce yourself? Because honestly, for someone who's like a master of all trades, like you DJ, you cook, you run a podcast, you're into sports. I don't know where to begin, so I think it's best for you to like take on the reins and introduce yourself.
Oh man, well, thank you, May. This is a pleasant surprise. It's an honor to be here, just to kick it and just to talk,
Yeah,
cricket and
definitely.
whatever. Uh, yeah, I guess when you said you were starting this, it kind of revamped my, you know, uh, it kind of re-energized me to really get back into some things, and especially now since we all quarantined. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah, like for me, honestly, like a lot of it does come from like I don't know if you see like Miley Cyrus doing it or John Krasinski, like they kind of made their own like makeshift shows on Instagram. And I'm like, wait, this is
Yeah.
kind of cool. I could do something like this. I'm an extrovert, so this whole thing is horrendous for me. Like I need to talk to people. I don't like people, but I need like it's like a double edged sword for me where I'm an antisocial extrovert. I don't like socializing, but I need people around me. So this is like the worst. Like I'm here like dying. So what's the best way? I don't know, FaceTime people for a show. I guess it's like the best thing for me to do.
Yeah.
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 So like how did we meet? Obviously I think like this is like the question I ask like all my guests, just like who you are, how did we meet, and like your honest first impression of me. I know you have something to say about that. Because I'm a lot. So
Hey,
yeah.
I don't. It's funny. I don't remember the very first time that we met, but I know our connection is similar because you know your best friend is my sister. So
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
that's pretty
So
much how I know you. But
yeah. So like
I
for
don't.
the
Yeah, I don't
viewers, like
recall.
no,
I
no,
don't
and
recall
I
us.
think it's like probably Kiara's party. So like I
Yeah.
so Paul's sister and I are best friends. I met Paul's sister in high school, and you know we probably seen each other at parties and family gatherings. And I guess like I'm already friends with your brother, your sister. Like might as well like just I'm
Just,
just like
just keep
about
it
the
all in the
family.
family. Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
no, like at the last birthday party, not like not Kinar's birthday party, but Kiara's birthday party. We were me, Tiff, and Jared. We're like, yeah, we were literally sitting with the family crew. Like we weren't even sitting like with the friends. We were out there with the family, like just like drinking
Yeah.
and chilling, and that's how it is. And like,
Well, y'all
and
all family. You know.
we're family. You know what I'm
So
saying? And it's kind
yeah.
of cool. Like we have these friendships. Like I think for me and like for like the girls, like it's really nice that like we're not just friends. Like I consider them like my sisters. I consider you my brother. I consider like Kanar and like the rest of my friends' siblings like my own. And like it's really
Mm,
cool like they like that we had like that connection. So it's kind of cool. And
yeah.
what's your first impression? Do you remember a first impression? Like is there one or like
My first impression probably was, who is this girl?
and that's
She
I
is
bet everyone's gonna say that.
she is a character. She's funny. I'm like, I like her. I like her. I really do. Yep.
Yeah, like I mean that literally I think that's what like everyone's gonna say. I feel like that's the response I'm gonna get this whole time. Like she is a
Yeah,
character.
it's true. It's true because you're very carefree. When I first saw you,
Yeah.
like you're very carefree and very relaxed. You also, I don't know, it's just something about you. You really mean, you mean what you say. You do what you
Thank
do. So
you.
I
I
commend you.
appreciate that. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Like especially coming from someone who I respect, especially coming from like someone my best friend's like related to. Like this means a lot to me. So thank you. Like, my brother brings some friends around. I better make sure I like them. So it's like this is like a high on. I feel like the siblings are like scary, especially as you're an older brother, I'm an older sister. It's like you got to be careful who your siblings are hanging out with. So like I really appreciate that you do hold me up to like a good
Yeah,
standard.
that's true. Yeah.
So like I just want to ask, like I know you run a podcast, and like I don't know if you mind me like promoting that or like kind of telling people about it. if you don't mind.
Yeah.
But I know you run a podcast like on sports, and I just wanted to know like how did you get into it? What was your motivation for it? Like why podcasting and what how did
Well,
you get into it?
to me, podcasting, I mean, I listen to a ton. So it was always kind of a curious thing for me to say, hey, why don't I start one? And everyone has kind of told me, like, yeah, why don't you need to start one? Like, you need to do one. And I started one. I can't lie to you, though. I'm missing a few episodes, so I need to get
Mhm.
back to it. But basically, it was a podcast about, because I love sports so much, so it was about sports, and I want to tie it to a business. So we talk sports business, and just how it affect your everyday life, or what certain things that are going on inside of sports that can relate back to business. So
Yeah, definitely. And like just tying into that, like we see now with COVID-19, this it is really impacting lots of industries, especially with sports. Like MLB just had to postpone its season, the NBA was suspended. So what are your thoughts on that? And do you think the sports industry will ever be the same post COVID-19?
wow, I have to say with the whole COVID-19 and things like that, is sports we all need. I feel like it's an essential need, for everyone.
Yeah.
It takes away the things that you're going through at the moment. You just want to focus on your sports team, and it brings excitement, it brings joy to many
Mhm.
people. So sports are definitely missed, and I think it's important, but the safety of players and those who are involved is much more important than the overall business of sports. But I think throughout this climate, we've seen, like, I was watching the draft the other night, and now
Yeah.
they had the draft like this, like me and you, like on
Hmm.
Skype. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's getting they're finding creative ways to still kind of serve and entertain the people. So I think it's
Hmm.
cool. Like the NBA, they had a like a horse competition against
Oh,
like
really?
NBA and
Oh.
WNBA players.
Mm.
So I see a lot of things going on. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know how it would change. I think hopefully we can get back to seeing sports, especially on TV and
Mhm.
live games. I don't know about live games
Yeah.
if that's gonna really happen until like we really get a vaccine or something. Because I'm
Yeah.
still worried about large gathered crowds. So
Yeah,
we'll
same.
see.
Like I know like WWE, like the wrestling company, they did their Tiff watches WWE, so this is how I know. She watched the latest pay-per-view of WrestleMania and like they obviously had
Oh
to
wow. Okay.
adapt they adapted a lot of it for like a COVID world where instead of
Yeah.
having crowd, the match would just be like they just filmed the match with no crowd. So they
No
did their
crowd.
thing.
Yeah. No
No, and
audience
it's
in the arena.
awkward to watch because like I feel like with NBA and like WNBA, NBA, MLB, it's like the game. The game is the show, but WWE it's a performance. Like you have like hosts and a storyline, and like
Yeah.
the crowd does add to
It's
it.
weird.
So
You
it's really
performing alone. Imagine going to a Broadway play and it's no,
yeah,
you know what I mean? You're just watching it, but
yeah. It
it's
was
weird.
super awkward. Like, and then they did like pre-taped matches. Like they would do like kind of like a telenovela type of thing. Like I don't know. It was just really interesting to see other companies come up with more creative ideas to compensate, like not just for money, but also just entertainment value. Like you said, like sports is not just like for the hell of it, but it's like for people to get something off their mind, hometown
Mm-hmm.
pride. Like my friends and I, we go to Yankee games, and like when we found out the Yankee games were canceled this summer, we're like, okay,
Yeah,
what
no,
are we gonna
no
do now?
games.
Like this is it. Like we can't do it. So like, what do you think like of a world where we can't go to live games, like where games will just have to be like there's no crowds? Like, how does that look like for you? Do you
Oh
think it's like
boy.
because
I
concessions are going to go down and and like that's a lot of revenue that people are bringing in. So it's like that's
yeah,
going to look interesting to say.
but you know what? That was kind of changing anyway. I think with the current climate now, some people don't want to go out. They rather sit at
Yeah.
home. We all have HD TVs now, big screen TVs. We
Hmm.
can cook our own food, enjoy
Yeah.
our own beverage and drinks and stuff, and watch the
Yeah.
game in the comfort of our own home. But I really
Mm,
don't think that it's nothing like going to the actual event and
not
seeing
at
these guys,
all.
seeing your team perform, putting on your
Hmm.
merch. I have my merch on today, my
Yeah, I
Knicks,
see.
sweatsuit. It's nothing like that. That experience is second is 1 to 1. So
Yeah,
um,
definitely.
yeah, so I don't know. I hope that won't be the day. I hope they can get
Yeah.
back out there and things can
Mhm.
go back to normal. But
Yeah.
we just have to see.
Yeah, definitely. And like the Olympics were canceled for the first time in like since I think World War II. That's like
Yeah, that was a big
unprecedented.
deal.
That's a hit because like I do know like they people invested so much money into like building these stadiums and like I'm sure like
Yeah,
the Japanese government Tokyo definitely like had to cut off so many losses on that. So it's
that was a big
like
deal, and we were gonna
that's a
go.
big. Oh,
We
you're
had
gonna go?
we had planned a trip to Japan too.
Oh, nice!
We were planning
Oh
on
my
going and
gosh!
getting things together, but it didn't work out. But
Yeah,
we still
yeah,
probably
no.
go. We'll probably go next year or something. But
Yeah, 2021. Hopefully things clear
mhm.
out by then because I feel like I can't even imagine like it's like every single industry has been hit. Like the fact that like being in law, seeing that now courts have to be done virtually. Like this past Monday, um, New York courts have never done this, but you when you get sworn in, you have to swear in front of a judge, in front of a court, in law in person. And for the first time in like Brooklyn's like second department's history, so it's a Brooklyn, Nassau County, Suffolk County, and Queens, you have people who are being sworn in through Skype, which has like never been
Really?
done before. Yeah, I had to like
Oh,
literally do a
shoot.
whole oath, and it's horrible because like my tech issues, like I'm panicking because like tech issues weren't working well, and it's like a whole new world and a whole new system that we kind of have to like be adapted to now. And it's
Wow.
yeah, I was sworn in on a computer. I still look good in the pictures. Like I still made sure I got my
I'm
pictures
sure.
because it's me. Like I had to like really do the most, but it's just interesting now like we see like everyone shifting to like new creative ways to keep business afloat, it's just like how much like we rely on technology unfortunately because there's something else
Oh,
like that's yeah, it's just
I
ridiculous.
know.
So
Now how
yeah,
do you feel? Now how do you feel about that? As far as because I'm like, wow, I didn't think of that. Like the court system,
yeah,
they're actually doing this like online. Like,
there's this
do you see that?
yeah.
Do you see that playing a major role like in the
I'm
future?
gonna tell
Like,
you something. Lawyers are not me, but most attorneys I know, including like younger ones, are horrendous at technology. Like, there's a reason why they chose the law and not STEM. It's been bad. Like I've had to help like supervisors before with just using like Microsoft Word or like simple Excel stuff. Like it's so I think like is it gonna work? It's gonna take some time. Like lawyers are bad at technology, like bad. Or like I've never met like
uh,
an attorney that's like it's weird because I'm one of the better ones. So like that's the sad part. But a lot of people, and especially a lot of older attorneys too, like they're not used to doing like some people still type on a typewriter, some people handwrite their notes. So it's
ooh,
gonna be hard.
okay,
And then
yeah, yeah,
another
yeah.
thing is like privacy concerns too. For like a lot of things are confidential. A lot of things are, like we're handling sensitive documents in law, and it's like to do something like this, like it's kind of hard because people can hack things at any time. Sensitive, like data is
That's
really
crazy.
sensitive,
Yeah,
and even like things like Zoom, I've heard of people, not really in law, but I've heard of like groups where they do like like people doing like Zoom happy hours or Zoom like congregation things. Like
right.
there's like Zoom bombs, so, like people would come in and hack and like I think recently on the news, like there was like a Jewish Passover Seder that was done through Zoom and they got hacked by like white supremacists. So it's like it's really scary to see like something as sensitive as like watching a court what is it, a court case play out is fine because the court cases are usually open to the public because like
Yeah.
of like transparency and things like that, or like even things like government meetings are supposed to be transparent. But dealing with sensitive documents, like I don't know how that's gonna work because like it's it's really unsafe. Like you don't know these people can get hacked at any time at this point. So it's like
Ah,
yeah. So for things like I think for certain industries, like moving to like going to tech works. But I think for the legal field and for like government, it's gonna be a little harder because you're dealing with such sensitive material. So I
yeah.
don't know how that's gonna play out. I mean, I like honestly, I'm not really like a real attorney yet. Like I'm gonna like on like on in according to New York State, I am. It's like me and my driver's license. Like I have a driver's license, but I don't drive. The same thing. Like I'm a lawyer, but like I'm not really yet because like still like starting out my career. I think for more seasoned lawyers, I think this is like the problem they're gonna face, and it's like the ethical issues of it, and like I think the legal community is gonna like I've seen a lot of like meetings going on between like lawyer groups, like bar associations. I'm like, okay, what's the next step? But I don't know. I don't know. It's
Oh,
hard.
wow.
It's another world. So
That's crazy. And
yeah.
this could be, this is for jurors too, right? Like
Oh, we
jurors
haven't.
are
I didn't
online
even think
also.
of that. I'm not even sure. That's the thing, because like the virtual courts just started opening.
Oh,
Well,
okay,
I don't
okay.
even know. That's right. I didn't think about juries. I don't even know how jury duty is
Yeah.
even going to look like or going forward. That's interesting. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
Wow.
'cause how can you demand people show up for jury duty where like people may not have the technology, like access to
Right.
Wi-Fi, access
Yeah.
to cameras,
Yeah.
access to iPads? That's an accessibility issue, and like you get fines for not showing up. So
Right.
I don't know, and but then it's unconstitutional to not have a jury. So then you run into these problems,
Right.
and see, this is
And then
why
you
I
would
feel
want
like
to,
yeah,
and then you would want a fair jury too, like a fair
exactly,
case. If I don't know how to use the certain,
yeah.
technology or whatever, I'm gonna just, oh yeah, he's guilty. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly. Or like when you get
oh,
cut off, like people are like, okay, like so jury, like okay, like what is your decision? And then your thing shuts off. Like what? Like
oh,
no, that's happened. Like I don't know. I think like it's not for like I'm gonna only speak for like the legal field. I don't think it's gonna work. Like I don't think it's gonna work for like the legal field. I think like either someone's gonna have to be creative or I don't know. Like we're gonna there's a lot of constitutional concerns that are going on. There's a lot of I didn't even think of the jury thing. So like thank you for
yeah,
even bringing it up. Yeah.
wow,
So like quarantine, it's changing a lot of things. So like you said, like you know, people aren't really doing anything much. People are taking up new hobbies. So I just want to know, like, what's your quarantine hobby? I feel like I see you DJing on Instagram. Like, are you like throwing Instagram like
yes. I'm
parties
actually.
or like?
You caught me. I was mixing something right now. I got my headphones on and stuff.
Nice.
But yeah, DJing. That's something that I've kind of taken a liking to. I've always wanted to do it,
Mhm.
and I was. It's funny because I was speaking to one of my friends, and he saw me on when I did a little mix, and he watched it. He was like, "Wow, like I remember when we were little, and you would like turn the volume up on the little stereo up and down and try to." So I guess from there, I just kind of took liking to it, and I love music. You know what I mean? We debate music all the time, me and my brother and
Oh
my sister, and
yeah.
like, why
I
not? And
know.
I think I'm getting the hang of it. I got some things to still learn, but my goal with this really is to really do this, like to really learn it and do it, and see where it goes. Probably do a little, house parties or do things here and there, or as a side hustle or something like that. But I enjoy it.
That's awesome. Oh my god. And I think like I'm seeing more people like DJ to have like these like I don't even like people even party online now. So it's like I see a bunch of DJs like throwing up their mixes and it's really kind of cool
Yeah,
that
I
like
see it a lot. They're doing it on Instagram Live. I want to do a
yeah,
live set, but I got to work around it. Kind of. I haven't perfected it
yeah.
yet. I want to work around it because of the copyright issues.
Oh
So
yeah,
that's
yeah,
why, like, they'll cut you off. Like, I went live one time and I was into it, and the video just
yeah.
said, "Oh, copyright." I'm like,
Oh my
"Oh, I got to
god.
figure it out." I think a good platform they've been telling me is Twitch. Like, do it on Twitch
Twist.
or record your live and then put it on IGTV or something like that. So
That's what I'm
I
gonna do
might
for this thing actually. I'm thinking on IGTV.
I might do something like that.
Oh my god, Twitch. That's so interesting because Twitch, like when I think of Twitch, I think of gaming. I think of like
Right.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's so interesting that people are now using this platform to throw parties. Like I never
Yeah.
thought of that. Like Twitch for me was like a group of gamers getting together, watching each other play games. Like I, I don't
Right.
know, I don't know.
Okay. So I have a funny story. It's kind of funny. It's kind of embarrassing.
No,
So
say it. I need the juice. I need
uh
like
so the app, right? It's House Party.
yes, yes.
Yeah, there's
My
an
friend
app called House Party. So
knows.
it's a pretty cool app. Like, you can play games against the other person and
Yeah.
stuff. So I'm sitting at home, and this girl texts me. She's like, "Oh, do you have House Party?" And I said, "Oh, House Party. Um,
Yeah.
I think I got it. I mean, it's a movie, right? You gotta, because I'm thinking a house party, like the movie, Kid and Play.
Oh yeah. I was like,
That's how old I am. I'm like, wait,
oh my
house
god,
party, the movie? He's like, no, old, like
like
you
ah,
old ass. Like, no, like it's the app. I'm like, oh, there's an app called House Party. So I got embarrassed. I'm like, wow, okay,
no.
I'm up there. I mean, I'm only 32, but I'm like, I didn't know it was a house party. I'm like, house party? What? What is that? The movie, I know. Yeah, the movie, I know. Kid and Play, and but,
But no, it's because I feel like I'm only 25, and like you have all these people like TikTok. Like apparently that's like a big thing now. Like I'm like,
yeah,
when did
TikTok.
people get into this? Like I'm like,
Yeah,
what?
I just got a TikTok too.
You got TikTok?
Yeah, I just got one. I didn't make a video yet, but I think I will. But yeah, I just got that.
Oh my god, I don't understand how to use TikTok. Like I've okay, so I do have the app because my brother likes to send me TikToks, but he's a little younger, so he does like that stuff. And I've tried filming my dog because she's cute. I don't think I'm a TikTok person, but my dog is, and I don't know how to operate it. I'm like, huh? Like I'm like, okay, how do you do the effects? How do you do the? I'm like, and I'm only 25. Like, how do these like 16, 17-year-olds, like even 15, like they're doing like real films on there, and like
Yeah,
yeah, as much as like I'm ragging on TikTok and like the rest of our generation is ragging on TikTok, I think it's like a really cool way for like young people to like get into film and tech. I think this is like a
yeah,
new era of tech. This is cool. Like I
yeah.
don't
That it's interesting you say that.
yeah.
It's something that's very important, and I think that we should learn that more. Like, especially in
Yeah.
our communities, like the minority communities coming up younger.
Mhm.
Like, you should really
Mhm.
know. You know how to play the games. You know how to make the use the apps, but who's building the apps? You know what I
Right.
mean? Is
Yeah.
So I don't know. I want to look into that more and see if
Mhm.
learn how to code or things like that, because
Oh my
it's
god, yeah.
it's important. Like we should know that. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
other I would encourage other young people to learn that also, like how to do
Yeah.
those things, because the tech industry is crazy right now. Like you could really make a lot of money on doing these type of things that we use every day. You know what I mean? We use the computer every day. We use our phones every day. So why
Mhm.
not make the apps? Why not make
Yeah.
these things that we use every
Yeah.
day? So
Definitely. And I think like back to podcasting, I think like you said, like for like people of color, for communities of color, it's like podcasting is a way for a lot of up and coming voices that we don't really hear in typical media to like do something and to have like that presence, whether it is through TikTok, whether it is through like having a show, like a podcast show, whether it's having a YouTube channel. So that type of tech is also like super important for getting like ideas out there.
yeah,
Like in my opinion. And like people are looking for that more. Like people aren't really like, especially in the era of like fake news or like biases, people really aren't relying on like typical news sources anymore, but more of like, okay, well, let's take back our media, let's put our stories out there, and like let's make our own stuff happen and things like that.
yeah, for real. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah. It's like, and like that's why like it's really cool that you're doing the podcasting work because like it's you're taking your own material and you're working to your own hands. So like I commend you for it. Like this is day one for me, and I'm already stressed out. Like how am I gonna do all this? Like how do I like? Is it even gonna be successful, or like is it even gonna? Am I gonna look embarrassed? So it's like I really do commend like you and other people out there who are like doing the work and are putting out this great content that isn't typically seen in like CNN or like MSNBC, but it's it's our work, it's our community's work, and it's like amazing. So like, thank you for
All
doing
right.
that.
Yeah, man, I
Yeah,
do it, man. That's
yeah.
it.
But before we wrap, I would love to like know. Okay, so you did mention that a girl hit you up for house party. What is your view? Because like I still can tell a lot of like my like women friends about it, about quarantine dating. What is your view on that? Like I retired. Okay, so like I retired from the dating game. So like I've kind of
Retired.
tapped that. I'm retired. Yeah, I'm
What does
done.
that
I'm
mean?
done. I'm over it. I can't do it anymore. Like
Was you ever?
I
Were you ever in the game? Were you ever?
that's what I was for. This
I
is
don't
what
know.
I was. I like sat on the bench. I was a bench warmer, but then now I'm like, yeah, I can't do it. Okay, in terms of
All right.
basketball, I was not like the starter. Like I was like, no. but I was on the bench, kind of like watching, observing, and I was like, nope, not for me, and I decided to retire.
Oh,
but, but for other people, I see people like going on like FaceTime dates and things like that. What is your view on this? Like, is this like the time to do the quarantine dating? Is this the time to like, I don't know.
it's
I'm
weird.
tired. So.
When we talked earlier about it, I didn't even know that was a thing. I'm like, wait, how can you do this on, you know, Facebook Live or whatever, or Zoom or whatever? I didn't know that, but I didn't read the article, but I saw something on the news about it, and it was like, yeah, that's really a thing. Like, people are having like dates on TikTok. Like, there was one couple that did like they cooked a meal together. Like, they brought the same ingredients. He put the phone over the thing, and they were talking and sharing, and they cooked the same meal together, and then sat down and ate. I'm like, wow, that's kind of cute though. That's kind of fly. I would do that. I would,
I
I
feel
would
like
do
it's
that.
like back in high school, like you gotta text like the guy or the girl or whoever you're interested in. You have to like send. It's like high school dating over again. It's just like so weird. Like I don't know. Like, but it's interesting because like I've had friends of friends who are going on FaceTime dates for like 2 hours, just sitting there talking, and I'm like, I don't even like FaceTime people I know. Like, how is it like this FaceTime a stranger? Like, I'm like, well, what do I talk about? Like, you know what I mean? Oh my god, my nose is like, excuse me, I'm so confused. But my nose is so. Continue. Let's hear your thoughts.
But though, I must say that I think that's, I mean, what it's creative. You know what I mean? And I think it builds up more suspense to when you finally get to see the person. You know, and you've already built that kind of. If you can build it on this, then you probably should. You probably have no problem when you meet in person. So
That's
I think it's
true.
kind of cool. Yeah, I think it's kind
Maybe
of
it's
cool. I
stepping
would
up
do it.
people's game. I mean, you got the house party app. You told me to sell the house party app. I guess. I don't know. That could be a way. See, I was telling Tiff, like, I was like, I'm so glad I retired from the game before all this like
Oh
started
my
because I
gosh,
would not. I'm
retired.
retired. I'm retired. I'm done. I can't do it anymore. I haven't even
Oh
retired. I
man.
don't want to do it anymore.
So let me ask. So let me ask you then. What would? Oh.
What happened? Did you? Oh,
Oh, okay.
hello. No. It was my phone's like it's like low power mode, like 20%, but it's cool. So
That
what's the
was
question?
I think what was I going to ask? Oh, what? So what would it take for you to be unretired,
Okay.
to come
So
out
I'm
the
just, I
game?
don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I'm like, you know what it is? I think like my friends and I think as a whole, all of us are kind of like, we had a phase where we're like, this is so cool, like Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, and whatever, all the little like phone things. But then it got boring. It was like the same, and then we would go out a lot. Like we would go to the clubs, we would go to the bars, we would see people. But then it got repetitive. Like it was like the same, like all right, like you talk, you ghost, you talk, you ghost, you talk, you ghost. If you're
Mm-mm.
lucky, you get one dinner out of it. And like it just got boring. Like it was like, okay, like great. Is there anything exciting? Like I'm just like, I don't know. And like that's what it is. I think it's just the repetitiveness of it. For me at least. It's like you see them, you're lucky if you get a free meal, and then they ghost you. And it's like, okay, okay,
That's
great.
what it
Like
is.
that's what it's just like it's like the same storyline. Like it's like I'm living in the same storyline but with different cast of characters. Like I'm just like I don't know, maybe what would take me to get out of the game? Money, I guess.
Mm,
I don't know
okay.
at this point. I'm like,
All
I don't
right.
know. I don't know. I really don't know. Your sister does a great analysis of my problems. I feel like she probably could hit it on the nose. But I
Mm,
don't know.
okay.
I think with like dating, I think it's just like it's weird. It's a lot of vulnerability. I don't think like I'm there yet. I think I'm like super closed off. Like everyone thinks I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, she's so open. She's like super chill. But
Right.
I am such a private person that I'm like, okay, no. And then I'm picky because I feel like if I see one thing that annoys me, I don't like them. I'm just like, no. I'm like, write it off. Throw the whole man away.
Nope.
Like, I
That's
don't
it.
want it. Yeah. So it's like, I think like there's just no one I would like unless, oh, this is what will take me out of the game. If Michael B. Jordan was to slide into my DM
Oh,
today,
okay.
out
I
of
see.
retirement. coming out. Yeah, that's it. I'm out of retirement, and we're gonna play the game again.
Hopefully he watching, so he can.
Michael B. Jordan, if you see this, I am single and waiting for you.
Oh my gosh.
But Paul, it's been great to talk to you, and like honestly, like thank you for like being like my first recorded episode. I don't know when the episodes are gonna come out, but the fact that I'm doing this with you first means a whole lot, and the fact that like
Yeah,
I'm
this is an honor.
finally and like getting to know more. So like before we wrap, do you have like anything that you want to share, like your podcast, like where we can find it, your Instagram handles, I don't know, whatever you want. The self promotion time, it's all you.
So yeah, you can follow me. P McWhite 1. No, P McWhite 2.
Too.
Yeah, P McWhite 2 at Instagram. The podcast is Beyond the Game Podcast. It's on every platform. Check me out. I'm gonna probably post some episodes pretty soon. Now that we're in this little quarantine and whatnot, I have more time. Yeah, so just check it out.
And I'll
That's
plug
all.
your handles and everything below so everyone can everything like visually. So thank you so much, Paul,
Cool.
for checking this out. I appreciate it. And we'll see you next time.